What is up, everybody? I'm Boogie, and we are going to waste no time because this video is chock full of content. Getting right to it, you can see that the Bloody Fall devs are coming out swinging with a super aggressive release date, if you ask me, of June. I mean, that's right around the corner. Alright guys, hold on to your hats because this is going to go fast. We're going to do kind of like a slideshow thing, and then we're going to go and kind of see like a summarized version of Yazoo's stream. Yazoo is a Twitch streamer, and he interviewed the guys at Bloody Fall. It's actually an hour-and-a-half long interview if you'd like to dive into and get all the details. I'll definitely leave a link in a pinned comment or something. Go over to Twitch and give Yazoo a follow for sure. Yes, we are still doing a Steam key giveaway every week. At the end of every week, we're going to give away some kind of Steam key. If you're interested in that, stay tuned till the end. I'll give you details on exactly how to enter. But for now, we're diving right into this thing. So as you guys may remember from my previous Bloody Fall videos, Kalinin here is going to be the very first map releasing in June. Then later on again, we're going to see Kalinin, yet a future version of Kalinin where it's kind of bombed out and war-torn, and instead of it being like in the fall, it's going to be winter, so there'll be snow on the ground. Same map, yet completely different, if that makes any sense. Here we have some of the houses and buildings you may see in Kalinin, whether it be the first or second map. These are kind of like log cabin style homes. You can see some of these are damaged. And then inside, these are furnaces or stoves. Pretty important to survive a Russian winter, I guess. Gotta keep warm. I asked the devs if there'd be a special melee attack where you can throw the enemy into the stove, and I think he said no. But that's okay, I totally wasn't being serious. Here we have the Kalinin Tram Depot. Be an interesting place to hide your rally or maybe a fob. And this looks like it may even be the interior of the palace itself, but I may be completely wrong. Now, I know I'm flying through these photos, so no worries because you're going to see them again in Yazoo's stream. I just kind of wanted to show them in all their glory, like kind of full screen, so you could pause and check them out if you wanted to. Of course, that was the winter Soviet uniforms, and this is the Soviet Crewman uniform. And what will the crewmen be crewing? Stuff like this, the freaking BA-10 armored car. Now, of course, this doesn't have a whole lot of armor, but it'll be able to zip around the battlefield and give infantry support. And then we have an untextured KV-1. I do believe this is a heavy tank, but it doesn't look like the turret or the textures is done yet. We just got a little sneak peek at it. But now that we're on the tank topic, that is exactly where we're going to dive into Yazoo's stream. Again, I'm summarizing this stream and trying to get the most important bits. If you want to see the whole thing, I'll have a link in a pinned comment.
Can you just quickly summarize again what tanks we can see from both Germans and Russians in this mod?
So Germans, you will have
Take note, guys.
the 1940, 1941 tanks we already have in game, like
Okay.
the one you have in Chapter 2, plus possibly a Panzerjäger 1. And for Russian, you will have T-34 as heavy, BT-7 as medium, I'd say, KV-1 as heavy, T-60 and BA-10. So T-60 is still on work, and the others are either in low poly stage or ready or texturing.
Awesome, awesome. Moving away from tanks then, and I had someone ask in my chat about the uniforms. I'm going to flash up the uniforms now. Can you explain what uniform we're looking at on my screen right now? It is the Crewman Uniform. Who is this for and what is it?
So that would be the uniforms for crewmen, and tank commanders. So basically the uniforms for armored. So maybe you won't see those on release indeed on the first map,
okay.
but maybe on Maidnoy just a bit after. I think it's still work in progress, as said. Wixo or either you want to add something?
Not really, because Dexter needs some more love, and we are waiting a bit for rigging, because, tank gameplay for Russian will come after the first release, so we don't want to spend too much time on things that will be released after.
Oh yeah, and just precision, because the boots seems a bit shiny and everything. The boots will be we receive some love.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what you have to expect as a uniform for for when you will play armored as Russian. So we hope you like it.
I mean, I like it.
And
So
yeah, more typos.
I'm going to assume, because everything else has been historical as possible so far, all your uniforms are going to be based on actual uniforms like the Russian and German armies use. Is that correct?
Yeah, it should be.
Awesome, awesome. Something that a lot of people don't mention is that every faction, not only do they have unique uniforms, but they also have unique animations, such as the running. So a German rifleman runs different to the American rifleman. Are we going to see something different with the Russians as well? Are they going to have some slight different running animations?
Okay, I can't say yes or no. I'll first finish all the weapon animation, vehicle animation, then if I have more time before the release, I consider to make new one. But the the one we actually have for uh, the British is kind of good. Same for the US.
Okay, awesome, awesome. And someone mentioned earlier, like the insignias on the uniforms you're going to be using are so we
Yes, this one.
yeah. Do you know where I'm going with this? Like the censorship and stuff? Are you just going to go all in and like, or are you going to
Yeah,
make like a different mod for
I
different
think
regions?
we said it a bit on the other live, but I will repeat it because I think it's normal. We will apply censorship because, well, first because we don't want to have issues with Periscope.
Yeah.
Technically, it's a mod, so they are not responsible for the content we do, but we feel like it can backlash on them quickly. Um, Imagine if we have success or anything. I think we think it can backlash uh, and backfire on them, and also because they always let open the door of maybe make official content from modding community, and basically if we add swastikas or things that are forbidden in some countries, we close that door uh, for
Yeah.
us. Like the door will be closed because of law and censorship in some countries.
Yeah.
So we don't want to take the risk, and we don't feel it's something that is impactful on gameplay or that makes the game really better or worse. It's just a detail. Um, yes, it's kind of sad, but at the same time, well, it's like that in some countries, and we have to respect the fact that, well, some countries don't accept it.
Yeah, no, I think that's completely fair and reasonable. Moving away from that then, and just sticking with kind of the uniforms at the moment. So in the maps we've got from Periscope so far, it's not just classed as the German army and the British army. They've got actual regiment names. Are we going to have some like historical regiment names for the layers that we're going to see in Chapter Red?
Yes, I think Lieutenant can say better than me which was the Soviet regiment fighting in Kalinin at that time. I don't remember exactly which one it was, but yes, I think we will have the right names and probably the right insignias if we can.
Okay. Lieutenant, feel free to add more to that if you wish.
Nope. In Kalinin, that's infantry divisions, Soviets, so that's nothing special. That's 26-я стрелковая дивизия и 5-я стрелковая дивизия. That's simple, that's just regular forces of Soviet Army. That's artillery, that's light vehicle, that's infantry. That's all.
So
Oh.
that's why you won't see tanks also on the first map, because basically it wasn't the
Yeah.
a regiment with tanks, which was in Kalinin at that moment in October.
Yeah, makes sense, makes sense. I've just pulled up the other uniform you sent me here, and can you explain what... It's very much a work in progress. It says infantry uniform. Who is this for? And is it for a specific role? What's the details behind it?
That's if we talk about only uniforms, that's for infantry. That's for infantry squads. That's overcoat and boots, and inside you can see. No, here you can't see. That's a winter uniform behind overcoat. About gears at uniform, that's be unique for any class. So we randomize classes by another helmets, another stuff, at another equipment. Yes, but for sappers, for logic squad, we have another uniform.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was already showed the other uniform. Oh, maybe not. I'm not sure. But yeah, we have another uniform which we won't have for this live tonight. Oh yes, it was showed already. If you scroll up in the announcement on our Discord, you can find the uniform which will be for logistics and sappers probably. So the one you have here is for now kind of generic without all the details for every classes, but it gives you an idea of what it will look like at least.
It looks awesome, I gotta say. And
And yeah, just to add something for the German ones, they will have different of the one they have currently in game, of course, because it's Eastern Front, so it's colder. So obviously the uniforms were not the same. But as you know, there is Chapter 4 coming,
took
and
the question out my mouth.
I think we know what it is now. And
Battle of the
so
Bulge.
the German will have a winter uniform, probably, we expect at least. So it can save us a lot of time and work if we have access to it, if the Chapter 4 releases before the mod. So we don't know, but we hope.
I mean, you took the question out of my mouth. I was literally about to ask that. I was going to say, are we going to see unique German uniforms? You mentioned it's winter. Are we going to see like winter camouflage and stuff like that? So I assume that's a yes from what you just said.
Yes, so it won't require as much work as building an entire faction, but yes, we will have to redesign a bit the Germans, of course, to fit the Eastern Front.
To be honest, we're waiting for Chapter 4 to use German winter uniform because it's the same at 1941 and 1944. But we anyway customize German vehicle and soldiers for Eastern Front.
Okay, fair. While we're on the infantry and the roles and the uniforms, you've actually sent me over a list of what the equipment every role is going to get. Am I able to show that now? I think that's a good part to move on to.
Yeah, go ahead. I know people want this. What will be their gears and equipment. Just a quick disclaimer, what you see there, and I say it is a first iteration, so it can change, and that's things that will change when we will be able to put our hands on the mod and test it on gameplay.
Make him say the names.
So yes, probably you will see things added or removed from classes for balance issue or just because it's not logical. So yeah, I see a lot of people want our leader to say the names in Russian. So if he wants to say it, he will say. So just to quickly say, the class name will be like in current games for German faction. You notice that the special classes and classes had their names in German, and it would be the same with our mod. The names will be in Russian. So here are the translation, and so we will stick to that. And you will pick your class with what you see on your screen, like the weapons form and shadow, if you don't understand Russian. But yes, so here you have a translation of it. You have both in Russian and in the English name.
I like that. So let's run down them one by one then, starting with the squad leader. How do you say that in Russian, Lieutenant?
Командир отделения.
I like that. You need to be the announcer in this mod. I hope you are. I want you to shout things at us over the radios. So they get...
That's one little moment. I voice Soviet side at Gates of Hell, and that's it open beta stage in Steam, and you can hear me at this game.
Nice. Well, let's talk about the squad leader then. It's very similar to the other factions. You get a choice of 3 weapons.
Yeah, so you will have the choice between the AVT-40, which is basically the improvement of SVT-40, or you can take the PPD-40 or a good old milsim if you prefer to have a rifle. In secondary, you will have the choice between you will
Ooh.
not have the choice. You will
Oh.
have Nagant revolver or SVT bayonet if you have the SVT, of course, the AVT. For grenades, you will have two LGD-33, which are the frag grenades, and two M1917 grenades, which are basically gas grenades. So one important thing, because I see people coming with, yeah, Russian have a lot of semi-auto or automatic rifles. Yes, but as every faction in the game, they have their playstyle and drawbacks, and one of the main drawbacks of the faction is they won't have smoke grenades. At least in the equipment you can see, their smoke are replaced with the M1917, which will work kind of like the phosphorus grenade, but without that much smoke. It will deal damage over time more than anything else. So yeah, it's better to have weapons to make kind of better suppression.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And we're basing this on the historical context. Every faction had their strengths and weaknesses, so it makes sense. The current factions in the game have strengths and weaknesses, so we'll have to see how it plays out in game and what the
Yeah,
teams decide is the best strategy to implement.
and that's will kind of force the faction to do charges and to move forward and have a very aggressive gameplay compared to other faction, I feel.
Okay.
It's my thought. I still have to test it in game, but I feel like it will look like this, like an aggressive faction.
Perfect. Well, two things before we move on to the next thing. The PPD-40, what is the magazine on that size? What can we expect?
It will be the drum magazine for PPD.
It's like 75 bullets or something like that, right?
71.
71. That sounds amazing. That reminds me of Call of Duty World at War. I've got to say I'm excited for that. And the other thing was the grass grenades. You mentioned they work a little bit like woolly, the British smoke grenades, and they're going to do damage over time. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will you be able to see the gas, or is it something that you're not going to be able to see as the enemy?
Well, to make sense, you would say, I would say, realistically, you should not be able to see it, but for obvious gameplay reasons, I think we will add an effect on it because it's literally unplayable if you can't see it and frustrating at the same time. And you imagine you die from damage over time, you don't even know from what.
Yeah.
So yeah, it will have an effect. Not something doing smoke like a phosphorus grenade, but a bit of fog, I'd say, or something like that. Something, something that won't actually cover your position and blind the enemy, but something you'll be able to see and say, oh, I shouldn't go there, it's gas and it's toxic and I will die.
Yeah. So it's sticking to the historical, but you've also got to make it fun for the game. So that's good to hear, That's good to hear. Moving on to the machine gun then, how do you say that?
Пулеметчик.
Man, I love these names. And again, it's similar to like the Germans, you get a choice of 2 MGs.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the deploy system. That is a bane to most MGs in the game. Have you been able to figure that out?
That's been like Bren, so you can shoot at hands, don't place it to bipod, and shoot and scope it, and able to shoot from bipod. So that's a light machine gun. That's much lighter than MG. MG is 34. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Radio Man. How do you say Radio Man?
Radist.
Cool. And I can see very similar to how other factions work. They get the SVT-40. What kind of gun is that?
Automatic rifle.
Okay, so like the German, I can't pronounce the German one. The Guava.
Yes. Gave a copy of SVT. I mean, not Gever 31, but Gever 33. That's they try to copy SVT because they like it system.
Okay, awesome. Rifleman. You say that.
Стрелок.
Strelok. Okay. And something interesting that I can see secondary weapon shovel. What's going on?
Yeah.
Soviets don't have bayonets for can use by hands because Mosin bayonet can be used only on rifle. So Soviet soldiers in close fight by shovels, and that's much more effective than bayonets, to be honest.
So that's basically the knife of the Soviet faction. It
Yeah.
will be the
But
shovel.
little more range and damage.
Awesome, awesome. Will everyone be able to use the shovel on the Russian army?
Everyone who have shovel, yes.
Awesome, awesome. Sapper. How do we say that?
Sapper.
Oh, pretty same then. Awesome. And the explosive charge of the sapper, is that going to work how other factions work? You just place it on the ground, run away, big boom?
Yep.
Yeah, classic sapper gameplay. And
Awesome.
RPG-40 grenades are basically the AT grenade.
This?
So this is the
RPG 40.
AT grenade of the sapper and some of the AT kits as well. I think they have.
Ah, okay. So this is what you're going to be chasing after tanks, throwing at tanks with. Okay, okay, cool. I'm loading up the other infantry kits. So the other infantry kits, we've got 80 rifle kit and 80 rifle kit PTSR. What's going on here?
This is AT rifles. That's full name of this class. Стрелок с противотанковой винтовкой, но but for games that's shortly or for documents that's ПТ-стрелок с ПТРД или ПТ-стрелок с ПТРС. PTRD that's automatic rifle.
Okay.
Yes, automatic. Guys, I'm correct. Automatic rifle, yes?
Yeah,
yes.
it's automatic rifle.
Yeah, this automatic rifle, but AT rifle with 5 rounds, and PTRS, that's AT rifle, but with only one bullet, like AT rifles at chapter 2.
Like the French boys rifle. That's how
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
And you have
Okay.
to reload every time, and PTRS on the, I think PTRS, right? I always mess up with the other. There is one you can shoot, and you don't have to reload in between bullets. It's basically automatic. It's kind of like it's kind of funny. I love to watch. You can find videos of someone shooting it on the internet, I think, and it's kind of funny when you look at it.
So from these rifles, how are they going to work with the team? Are we going to have, you can only have one per squad, or can you have a chance to get 2 of these in a squad?
2 PTRD per team, and PTRS at any squad, 1.
Awesome, cool. And I assume they're going to be great at knocking out tanks and vehicles. That's going to be their main job.
Yes, of course.
Yes, and that's we'll see with the armor overall if it works better than
Yeah.
than the chapter
currently.
2, of course.
Okay, medic then. How do we say the medic?
Sanitar.
Okay, and I can see it's got a Mosin carbine. What's the difference between that and the other Mosin?
Just short Mosin.
Ah, okay. Simple.
Yeah, it's like the model. It's a shorter version of the Mosin.
Awesome. And then marksman.
Sniper.
Okay, and I can see it says Mosin SH silencer. Oh, have we got silent snipers?
Yeah, so we have a silencer and snipers and sniper rifles and revolvers and use it. Many in first year so far, but then lose everything. Not everything, but many been lost. Yes, it's silencer for Mosin that's been like rifle grenades, so that's different. In games that's been realized making like different rifle with different ammo, so we can give 20 ammo for silencer, because that's not that's special ammo to shot with silencer. So that's slow ammo, so I think that's been balanced, and that's interesting feature for game.
It's definitely brings a different aspect to marksman, because how we've seen marksman in the past is they have a hard role to fit. It's like, why would you take a marksman where you could take a sapper to go blow up tanks and stuff? But with giving the marksman a silencer, kind of makes them more of like a infiltrator, get behind enemy lines and cause chaos kind of role. So
yeah, Because imagine you can't hear it like you would hear actual marksman in current game. With the silencer, it will be more like the death from you don't know where exactly it came.
Yeah, I can already imagine the infantry screaming about there's a sniper somewhere. I can already hear the screams. Moving on then, light mortar. How do we say that?
Минометчик.
Okay, and how are the mortars going to work? Are the hand mortars going to work very similar to how we've got them in the game currently?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
It's the same.
Do-
And the same, you can find the model of the mortar on our Discord, I think.
yeah.
And that's interesting, but we are first guys who make this mortar 3D model.
Really? What, in
Yeah.
any game?
Yeah, because that's really a rare mortar. We find only a few references all everywhere where we can find.
That's pretty cool. And I assume you mentioned earlier that the Russians are going to have a lack of smoke. When it comes to mortars, are they going to have smokes or is it just going to be explosive?
What?
For smokes, do they have smoke?
Yeah,
Ammunitions?
of course.
Okay, cool. The last role I've got here then is the specific roles such as the tank commander and the crewman. So how do we say those?
Командир танка и танкист.
Awesome.
Командир танка is tank commander, tankist is crewman.
Awesome. I don't see a shovel for them. Are they going to be able to use the repair tool as a weapon? Please tell me I can hit someone with a spanner.
Not sure, but I think we just forgot. Write it.
Yeah, I added some shovels somewhere. I probably forgot to add it for crewman and tank commander, but yeah, first iteration and everything. But yeah, it wouldn't make sense if they don't have. The tank commander won't have probably, or maybe they have. They have in actual game. I think they added it. But basically, for shovels and syringe, as you can see on the bottom, it will be the same than in the current game.
Okay.
Maybe the MG will have shovel. I think we saw. On our mod, but everything else about ammo boxes for the rifleman, it's not in there, but it will be the same. Syringe for everyone and shovels. That's why it's not necessarily in the board, because it's basic thing that you will mostly have. So yeah, it's not here, but you will have shovels.
Okay. The last three is the logistics roles. So they look very similar to how we have logistics in the game currently for the other factions. So Lieutenant, if you just want to run down the names of them, that'd be great.
Yeah, that's simple. In Soviet army, we don't have special logic squads, so that squad been a sapper squad. Командир отряда саперов, сапер и сапер-подрывник.
Awesome. I think that covers all the roles currently in the game then. It looks really interesting and it's good to hear about the balance that you've got in mind, taking that into account that you're doing it historical, but there's also some tweaks just to make it fun gameplay-wise, such as the grass grenades. I might have been blind. I didn't see the Russian commander role. Is there any information on that?
We just forgot about it.
No, it's not done yet. Let's say it's not. We didn't really settle, but expect probably a PPD 40 like in game, or choice between PPD and milsim. It's just not in the board yet, but it will be kind of the same of what you can see in game. So expect automatic choice between a commander with automatic rifle or milsim, a classic rifle with also support. I think for aerial support airstrike, you will have I-16 plane for strikes. And yeah, someone was asking about Katyusha for commander. I think it's planned for the first map.
No, that's planned
not the first, that later, yeah.
for liberation. For
But
first
yeah.
part, we have classic artillery, истребители как бы, fighters and bombers. For fighters it's E16, for bombers it's PA3.
What is your vision for this mod in terms of this end game goal? Like, is there a point what you're trying to achieve, and when you reach that, you say, okay, we're done, we've done our job, we're going to move on to the next project?
I hope I hope so. If we success with this, I hope if we can try be part of the main game, we continue working, and you can see the future on roadmap. We plan to make a European theater and Korean theater and Chinese. So because that's interesting battles, and everyone forgot about this. I mean, in games, in films, but it's really fantastic stories.
Yeah, it's and that's one thing I like about Post-Scriptum, how for Chapter 1, for example, we didn't really see Operation Market Garden in a video game yet, so it definitely is an appeal, and the other mod team is also working on theaters we don't see, with the Shifting Sands and the Chapter Mercury, so that's going to be cool.
Yeah, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great.
It's how we want the mod to be. Like when you think Eastern Front, you instantly think of Stalingrad or things
Yeah.
like that. But in our opinion, Stalingrad wouldn't look that great first because it's only 80 versus 40 versus 40. If it was 80 versus 80, gosh, that would be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's 40 versus 40, so it wouldn't look that great, and it wouldn't depict well what Stalingrad was. And we prefer to show people what is not on other games, like Kalinin, like Mednoe, like other theaters that are
But that a little funny because Kalinin, that's just another town at Volga, like a Stalingrad. That's a little same story, but more short battle on Kalinin, and not too bloody like Stalingrad.
All right.
yeah,
But
same
generally,
vibes.
that's same facts.
Same vibes, but on smaller scale and yeah, more original. And yes, well, basically our collective has the project. If you take it, as a globality, is bigger than just Kalinin, Mednoe, and 1941 year. It's basically every year and with different theaters. And so yeah, overall that's big one. Um, Obviously, for the other parts, it should be shorter in terms of development because the faction is already done. Some weapons are, so after that it's adding, new weapons, new animations, but overall some things will already be done. So it should be faster. That's why you have, for example, the ETA of the first map in June and the others in the summer, because it's mostly map design, and
Yeah.
after that it's tank rigging and make sure tanks works, but most of the faction and things will be already done. So that should go faster after the first release.
Awesome, awesome. And I know it might be early days yet, but is there any information you're willing to share on the European Fortress and for the Samurai?
About European Fortress, we want something like Kaliningrad, that's Königsberg, and Budapest, Vienna, and maybe Berlin part. For Fall of the Samurai, we want to show Korean theater, because it's no one knows this, but like 500,000 Japanese soldiers surrender in Korean, because that's break by Soviet forces, and that's really interesting. That's really hot battles.
Yeah.
But and we planned. No one know, but Soviet Marines deployed to the Islands too, like American guys. That's interesting. We want to make this. We want to show this. So I can't say about places, because I forgot names, because it's China names. It's a little hard for me to remind it every time.
Yeah, it's
But
all right.
that's ports, that's towns, and that's tank battles too. But it's not really interesting tank battles, because Japanese have really strange tanks.
Yeah. That is interesting. I honestly, I didn't know about the whole career to myself, so it's definitely another thing that's going to be appealing. I know it's going to be probably a while away yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing that as well, and good luck in those future projects, definitely. And yeah, you did mention Budapest in the European Fortress. Is that right? I just have someone asking in chat.
Yeah, I think
What?
he said
Yeah,
Budapest.
yeah.
Budapest, Vienna, and Berlin. Am I correct?
Yep, And Berlin is Budapest and Vienna. I said it was nearly sure, and Berlin something we were looking at.
Okay.
Because there is a lot of request on that one as well.
Okay, awesome. My next question was going to be about the timeline of this mod, but you've already put it here for us. So after you've done Liberation, is there going to be a progress where you go back and you tweak things, maybe add extra content, or once Liberation is out and you've done the majority, are you like finished at that point, or will you continually add to this mod?
Only if we have really important things. If everything working, we don't add new content to the first chapter. But if something's not working, or I don't know, if we don't make flamethrowers, but then we can make it, we add it. But if everything work, everything done, we don't back to the first chapter.
Yeah. So basically, after Liberation, the 1941 chapter is over, and we move on to the next one. And yeah, so if we see that, like he said, flamethrower can be added and wasn't before, we will add it. But otherwise, don't expect more content, I would say. Or new layers don't require that much time, so we'll see. But I think with the SDK, people can pretty much do the layer they want once they have access to the maps. But yeah, so after it's done, if there is no bugs or bad things, we move on and we do the next one and so on.
Awesome. One question I'm just going to snap again from chat. Are you going to do like a open playtest, an open beta that you invite people to come test things out on?
Oh, we plan it. Of course, we have problems with big map, I mean Kalinin map. So if we don't finish it at June, we start playtest at what we have, because we already have everything for faction, and we start test on test maps, on maybe on unfinished maps,
VOD will be
to
saved,
test
yeah.
the Soviet faction and test new systems and test everything what we've done already, because it's a huge content and we need to test everything and find all issues. Issues. Yes, and that's what we plan. And about latest, we already have a little test map for testing. When we done all animations and all uniform, we start a playtest, maybe closed, maybe opened. I don't know for now, but yeah, that will be soon, I hope.
Awesome. And before, there's a few viewer questions. I'm just going to ask the last question I've got wrote down. And it's, you mentioned this a little bit earlier on in the interview. And it's, for those who want to support this mod, how can they help you guys make this mod the best it can be?
I don't know. Learn map design and join us, I think.
Yeah, for now, I mean, a lot of people have been supporting us for a year, and thanks for that again, because I mean, already like supporting us and showing us your support and you're waiting the mod, it means a lot for us. Like we continue because we see people are hyped and want to see that mod coming. So that helps a lot. And yes, if you have if you think you have the capacity or for level design or anything you can bring to the mod in terms of development, yeah, level design, animation, I think we are lacking of animators as well. Wixo can confirm, I suppose.
We need a lot of animators.
Because he is our only one animator, I think, and imagine he has to do pretty much all the weapons and things like that. So yeah, if you know, if you're good at animation or level design, mostly just DM me or Wixo. I guess it's fine as well.
Or me. I
Or
try
you.
to answer you.
And we'll see if we hire you. But yeah, basically that's the best way you can help us if you want to go further than just cheering us up. And yeah.
Fair.
And if we do open playtest, of course, we will need. There is a point when we will need to try a full game, 40 versus 40, to see if everything works fine. Because Well, as Nazi always said, there are some bugs that happens. The periscope effects only happens when you are a full server.
Yeah, true, true.
Alright, dudes and dudettes, I hope you all are as excited for the Bloody Fall as I am. I cannot believe that we'll get the first of it just as soon as June. Super exciting stuff. God bless Post-Scriptum. God bless the guys at the Bloody Fall. It's an exciting time to be a milsimmer. For those of you that want to enter the Steam Key giveaway, it's really simple. All you got to do is be somewhat a part of the community around here. The Discord is linked right below. Of course, you got to like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and drop a comment. But within your comment, leave your Discord name and number. That way, if you win, I have no trouble getting the right person the prize. Alright guys, I want to thank you all again for watching. Don't forget to check out my virtual mission briefings if you haven't yet. Also, I have a Post-Scriptum Guides playlist. Even if you're a veteran, I guarantee you'll learn something. Definitely check that out. And you guys, be good to each other.